Hello everyone and welcome. We are back as promised after posting, of course, just last week with the Unfinished Business update. Joining me today, Mod Kelpie, Mod Osborne, Mod Timbo and Mod Ashes. So we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to show you as well, actually. There's some really cool stuff. So it's going to be pretty awesome. But just to go into it, the beach is back, of course. The update from yesterday brought back the beach. And of course, you can get involved in that and just have a bit of fun and see where you go from there. Everyone is laughing already. So I'm trying to
the comment, Kelpie wants to die.
Oh.
Got me. I don't know what face he was pulling.
I feel like I'm out of
I thought people would be commenting on your jacket more than
Timbo.
Yeah, well, yeah, give it time.
I felt like I was out of shot a little bit.
Glasses, though.
Yeah, the glasses thing is all right. Anyway, so let's go into August. We have what's coming up in August. Now, originally, we had achievements planned for July. We did show off, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, when we were on the computers, Ash, and we started showing off what the achievements update was about, the upcoming achievements update. So first of all, how come we didn't get this in for July?
So, all down to our lovely unfinished business ethos that we're currently having. So, in a sense, it was ready, but we didn't feel that it was compelling enough to release with the achievements that we're currently in. So we took another step back, had a load more achievements come in, and felt that, you know, to give this a good, proper release with some new achievements and everything ready, that we'd give it a bit more time for us to basically put them in.
Yeah, because a lot of the achievements were kind of like count-oriented, like pretty much get a set number of something. And we wanted a bit of fun.
Very grindy, very like kill 1,000 of
which
like
has
graddles.
So so obviously when we did that stream back then, and that was like the first thing we saw.
Yes, it was.
People going, well, we kind of expected special conditions to get an achievement, stuff like that. It's just a kill count.
So that's what it was. That's what was shown. That was what was saw. But now we've actually changed that completely, and half, probably like maybe 50% of those have been ripped out.
Okay.
So we're only going up, I think it's to like maybe 100, 150 or so, I think max, maybe somewhere around that number. I can't exactly remember the exact number, but it's enough to get the final boss number in, at least. So that should be probably the max that we'll get. Other than that, it's very much a fun kind of style oriented. We've got like killing bosses with rubber chickens and
you posted that
stuff like that.
I think he posted a suggestion. Was there a suggestion? I thought it was like an initial list, or was that guaranteed?
Yeah,
so you can find those.
Yeah, Timbo actually made us a nice long list. Stu, yeah, you were right. Stu did post it.
Yeah, it was on Reddit like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he was kind of, what do you guys think of this? This is what we're aiming for, kind of style. But yeah, we've actually had a lot of help getting it done, and we've managed to get all of them in because we were a bit unsure whether we would fit them all in. Yeah, definitely. Days and Ryan have been helping us out, which has been great. So hopefully we'll have some more fun and interesting ways that we can look at different pieces of content. So yeah.
Awesome.
Crossed.
So with this update, as kind of like a summary, what have we added with this achievements update?
So the main one is obviously more achievements. We've added a lot more. We've filled out some of the categories. So combat is now a bit more flush. There's now a mini-games category. There's a miscellaneous category. And we've basically had a whole entire redesign of the UI, which is kind of the big thing we're hoping. It was very, very simplistic. We've got a couple of photos a couple of screenshots that we might go into later.
Yeah, we can do it. Let's do it, and we can kind of talk about what we're seeing.
You can see. So yeah, you'll see on the left-hand side, that's what's in game currently, and then on the right-hand side is now the more flushed-out version. This is obviously the overview panel. So we've kind of kept it roughly the same, but we've added some more sections. So there's now a category section on the bottom. Everything's a lot tighter. It's a lot cleaner.
What's that? Is that the? Do you want to talk up to us about the number in the top right there on the new one?
On the top right.
Yeah,
so actually, yeah, that's our new way. Another new way of tracking how achievements are done. So we're calling this a rune score. It's basically every achievement that is obtainable that is not heavily RNG based will have a score with it. And that score will be shown in the top right. So it should be you've completed 20 achievements, but actually your rune score is like 1,000. So you've got 2 ways of comparing against sort of whoever you're comparing with.
So the higher the number, the more difficult the achievement is.
Of course.
Yeah.
Either actual skill levels or how skillful it is to do that achievement.
So we kind of showed off kind of comparing with your friends.
Yep.
Is that still in?
That's still in.
Awesome.
Yep. That's still there. Again, it was the same as what we showed from the other week. Nothing of that has really changed. Apart from I've made a couple of the examine smaller interfaces a little bit bigger just to allow the stuff that we're trying to show be visible and not so cramped. But otherwise, yeah, that's exactly the same. You can do it from right-clicking a character and go and examine, or you can actually do it from within your friends list.
So a couple of months back, we had an initial preview of what we call compact mode, I believe, from Mod Doctor. As the time has gone on, is that still going to be in for this update? So
yes, it's a very sort of slightly slicker mode. While Mod Doctor was doing it, and it was absolutely fantastic for what he'd done, with the UI design redesign, everything actually made sort of the card section on the right a bit smaller anyway. We initially felt that it wasn't worth having the compact mode, so we initially took it out. We've actually re-added it because there was a lot of people on Reddit, Twitter, forums saying that they would like the comp capes and stuff as a list view. So basically, we've re-added it back in, and now you can toggle it between essentially a list view or a card view.
So prior to the first achievements update, obviously in the completionist view, you had the list view of the comp stuff.
Yeah.
So now you can make that for every achievement.
For every achievement, yeah.
Nice.
So I did do it initially when it went in as a hard-coded thing, like, you know, the players just want to see it as this. But then there was no way of going back, and it looked really odd, and, you know, it wasn't like...
So going from list view in comp to viewing the icons in normal.
Yeah. So now you can just toggle it on and off as your pleasure.
Awesome. So obviously, what comes out of it? Is this going to be the last achievement update we see for a while, or will we always see stuff adding to it?
From me, yes. I've been on it for so long, I just want it out. But no, for anyone in the company, well, any content guys are welcome to add. So I can't say what's coming out and what's not. That's down to whatever else comes out of people thinking of fun, different ways of looking at their content, or any other content that's currently out there. I'm sure these guys have got some ideas for what's already there, and I'm sure everyone else upstairs has other ideas for things they want to put in. It's all there. The framework is now there for them.
So they can just plug into it.
And they can just plug it straight in. And,
yeah, we've been talking to the Clue Scroll guys, for example, about how we could bring them into achievements, that sort of thing.
Awesome. And then finally, before we have a player question, will these tie into the new pathing system too?
So the new pathing system was aimed more of a, here's a long-term goal, here's a load of things to allow you to get to it. But yeah, they're not really achievements per se, but they'll kind of slightly act like achievements. It's a bit of a grey area. It's quite hard to sort of explain, really, but yeah.
And then as a player question, if you enable privacy mode in your examine, does that stop people seeing your achievements?
It does, yes.
Awesome.
It obeys. Initially, when I was doing it for friends, so you could right-click on your friends who's on the same world as you and do examine, it just popped up the comparison straight away. But after that initial thing, I kind of thought, well, actually, players might not want to see this right away. So it now goes through the standard, just brings up the smaller player examine, and if you have all your privacies on, it won't let you view them unless you've got all that turned off.
Awesome. So I think as a kind of example of how we've kind of taken feedback and tried to make it better, obviously a really good example here when we of course talked about the initial PVM achievements before deciding we could have a bit of fun and add in some criteria stuff. We have a couple more pictures, so let's bring them up right now. About the achievement stuff. So, I mean, you kind of mentioned it here, how it all kind of lays out. Obviously, compared to the left versus the right, it's just way better looking, to be honest.
Definitely, yeah. So we've added icons. You can see underneath of each of the categories how many you've completed out of a total amount. The tabs on the left have all changed with their icons a bit more RuneScape-y. They felt a bit flat and odd. So, yeah, this is the view. Obviously, from the left-hand side, we had the initial massive cards. The ones on the right are now a lot slicker. A lot of you will probably say that there's still a lot of wasted gap. Please don't forget translation. Everything translated will obviously not necessarily take the lines that you see. And I love this. This is really cool. The final note, I actually made a boo-boo.
That's not a before on the left.
So that's not a before on the left. It's not
at all.
So actually, The one on the left would have only been about 4 progress bars. So now the one on the right, we have the ability to favourite any completed achievements. So whenever you go through your list, if anything is completed and you don't have hide completed option turned on, you can favourite it. It appears there on that bottom tracker tab, and it also appears within the player examine as well.
Awesome. So, is there anything else you want to add apart from that?
No, apart from I hope you enjoy it.
Awesome.
You know, it's a lot more flush than what we originally had. Sorry it went out the way it did. Obviously, we've now had a lot more time. Hopefully, everyone will enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Asher. Before you go, though, I've got a quick question from the Twitch chat. Can there just be an option to hide? Can there be an option to just hide achievements and still show you gear and level and examine info? Or is it all just tied into one?
That's all tied into one.
Okay.
Yeah, that player examine is kind of a whole thing on its own that we have to plug into separately to get everything showing as needed.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Asher. It's been
You're
a pleasure. Why don't you already talk about something that this particular mod has been involved in, and which involves
Timbo?
crystal chin chompers, crystal skills. I'm great at this. It's crystal skill chompers, and of course ninjas. So, give us a rundown of what people can expect with skill chompers first of all.
So, Crystal Skill Chompers is my old tech project. Basically, one day me and Mod Ryan sat down and we were like, why the bleak does no one use skill chompers? So I went away and came up with some quality of life fixes. So there's crystal skill chompers, which now act as crystal tools. So they require level 97 hunter to catch. They act like crystal tools if you wield them. So you can get crystal tools without being impervious. Or there's level 3 skillers out there and rejoice.
Wow.
They do better. So they get 5% extra benefit for catching fishing while using fishing, and 22.5% extra chance to get enriched memories while doing divination. So that's the crystal chompers. The XP rates for them about 800 to 900k an hour. It's pretty good. So the reason they're so high is because there's some other quality of life fixes for other skill chompers. You can now use all skill chompers from your inventory.
Oh, okay.
For their extra experience on failing and on success. When you catch a skill chomper, you can now catch more than one, depending on your agility level. So the higher agility level while catching, the best chance of getting more than one, up to 4 skill chompers per trap. That doesn't apply to crystallized and it doesn't apply to protein traps. It does apply to electrified traps. So electrified traps are pretty awesome now. What other quality of life thing was there?
Well, so let's talk about the skills. So you mentioned divination, you mentioned fishing. Are there other skills as well that ties into as well?
So woodcutting, mining, div, and fishing.
Okay, so how does it affect mining and woodcutting? So you gave us.
So they act like crystal tools. So you get the same chance of success for all those things, and the same swing speed as well.
Awesome. So we mentioned you mentioned about crystallize not working. Is that correct? So could you crystallize and then use something, but it doesn't give you extra XP on top of that?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You also cannot crystallize crystal skill chompers because they are already crystal.
Crystallize crystal. Not crystallize, all the crystallize. Awesome. So obviously, I think the question everyone wants to know is when can they expect it. I assume we can't say just yet.
Sure, we can.
Okay, go for it.
No, is it? No, it's not.
Get it right.
Don't get the date wrong.
You can be
not
a week
next
early.
week. It's the week after, right?
Okay.
Or is it next week?
I can totally come to your rescue here. It's in RC at the moment, so it has to be next week.
Next week, okay.
Yeah. We got there in the end on that one. So just to clarify, level 97 Hunter, correct? Yep. Is there any other levels that might be beneficial for this? Or is it just
agility, so you need 99 agility to catch guaranteed double skill chompers.
Okay.
Up to 4. Oh, sorry, you get XP for every extra skill chomper you catch.
Nice.
That was the thing I tried to remember. So if you catch 4 skill chompers in a trap, you get XP for 4 of them, which isn't the case on other things like that. So that's the reason why XP is now pretty good.
And obviously,
as
you mentioned as well, works from your inventory as well, so you don't have to obviously carry them as a weapon.
Yeah. So now you can use invention tool as well. Also.
Nice.
Skill
so does the item XP scale to that?
Yes. So you now get item XP for fails, which is why this is pretty awesome.
Oh, wow, okay. Jeez, okay, that's going to be pretty
skill
awesome.
chompers in your inventory compared to what weapon you've got?
No.
Okay.
And I got a question. Enrichment Aura, does it stack with the Crystal Skill Chomper for Divination?
Yes.
Wow.
So the 22.5% extra enriched stacks with everything. So it stacks with auras, it stacks with outfits, it stacks with buffs, it stacks with or familiars,
there you go.
It stacks with whatever else. So I think we managed to get to like 90% chance to get enriched on incandescent, something like that.
Jesus. Okay, there you go. All
Someone
the
asked if you can get Hazelmere's signet ring with
No.
skill jumpers.
I should have put an Easter egg for both of them.
You should
missed
have.
opportunity.
It's not an Easter egg if you mention it on a live stream.
Yeah, that's true.
He hasn't said what the Easter egg would be, though.
Yeah, okay, that might count.
All right, so let's talk about Ninja a little bit. Also shown in the video from last Friday was the Elite Skilling outfits. When can we expect these outfits coming into game? Sorry, not Elite Skilling outfits in game. The
original
ones. Yes, sorry.
The rest of them haven't been into game
Yeah,
yet.
so when can we expect to see these in game?
These are coming later this month.
Right.
I can't remember
Third
exactly
week.
when. Yeah, I think it's the third week, yeah.
And since I've mentioned Elite Skilling outfits, I mean, I suppose it brings up the question. Obviously, the last time we released one was Menaphos with the camouflage outfit.
Yeah.
We're still on track to do every couple of months, right, with the Elite Skilling outfit stuff.
I wish I could tell you.
Right.
I think the next one is June, 2 to 3 months. Or 1 to 2 months.
Which one is next?
Oh.
It's not woodcutting, is it?
No, woodcutting was the most recent one.
Well, the latest one was Thieving, right? So next
Yes.
one's going to be...
But we did Thieving because it was Menaphos.
Dungeoneering?
Constitution?
Let's just we'll come to that. We'll cross that road when we get there.
We have an internal schedule for these things.
Divination.
Thank you.
There we go.
We have an internal schedule for these things, and we have an idea when they're going to.
Okay, so just to clarify, we're still on that schedule.
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
Awesome.
It's
Cool.
not like we missed it.
Okay, cool. Do the urns work on Crystal Chin Chompers?
Yes.
Stackable urns along with... Did you just imitate the... Stackable urns with Crystal Skill Chompers would be pretty awesome then.
Yes.
Wow, okay, there
So
you
yeah,
go.
everything stacks off it, so the active stick.
Wonderful time for the Divination urns coming into game then.
Yeah. So electrified traps are pretty good with Crystal Skill Chompers.
There you go.
To the point where Modiago told me to nerf them, but I didn't, so... There you go.
There you go. It doesn't always batter down the nerfs.
I don't always nerf things.
There we go. Awesome. And just to clarify as well, the Electrified Trap is an Invention Tech Tree device, I believe, is
Yes.
that? And it pretty much guarantees a really high catch rate, right?
Yeah, it gives you high increased chance of success.
Yeah.
And some other thing.
There you go. All right, let's talk about...
Because I implement.
Let's talk about timed high scores.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty excited for this. So regarding Dungeoneering timed high scores, will it be looking for the right variables for floors to qualify? Like, what is it basing it on?
Yeah, so we put out the dev blog 2 weeks ago now.
Yep.
And one of the feedback points was, what are you going to do with Dungeoneering? So yeah, we are going to require the whole thing. So no guide mode, 13%, 5.5, all the sort of regular sort of Dungeoneering things you expect. Like, they are all going to be required for the high score.
Awesome. And is there anything else coming up from Ninja for the month of August as well?
So we have some other Dungeoneering related goodies.
Look how smug you look.
I love it. Most of
Shawnee's smug face.
One of them is Shawnee's update.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain your update?
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure why not. Can I say the other thing then? Because I haven't told them the other thing.
Do what you want, mate.
Oh, do you know what? Okay.
Sure.
You've got power.
This is technically your stream, right?
So technically, so when you're doing Dungeoneering, basically, it's very annoying when you have to click on your map and then you get attacked and it goes away. So if you don't know, if all goes well, next Monday, the dynamic map will come into game, which will basically allow you to keep the Dungeoneering map open as you play, and it'll update and pretty much fill out the map as you go through each of the doors, and works in sinkholes as well. Also, for duos, we're going to allow large dungeons for duos. Now people are going to say, why not solos? Unfortunately, from a technical perspective, allowing single players to create essentially 64 map squares in an instance, we don't know how much load they can put on our server, so we went with 2 for now to see how it goes, and we'll be keeping an eye on it and maybe making it 1 in the future, but we'll have to wait and see. Also, I can't remember their Mod Edge. Mod Edge has done something pretty awesome for DG as well, which is all of the skilling plots you find, he's added skilling icons to the minimap as well. So if you love doing your skilling plots in DG, that's in there as well. So some really, really cool
Just
stuff
take
coming
all
up.
of the ninja mixes, it's fine.
Is that the DJ stuff?
I want your stuff. It's fine.
It ties into that.
And we're also merging Dungeoneering worlds as well.
Oh, merging
the 3 members worlds to be one single world.
Oh, awesome. Okay, there you go. And apart from that, I mean, bit of a question, just kind of on behalf of the players. What's the best way for players to always get these suggestions to the ninjas? So obviously we've got like Reddit, we have Twitter, Discord, and all that. But what's the most ideal way here?
All of the above.
Yeah, I mean, the absolute perfect way is to message someone on Reddit or Twitter, because they are the ones that we check the most. We do scour the forums every week. We have our ninja meeting every Monday. So if you want to get anything done, get it done over the weekend. We'll troll through the forums on Monday morning, and we'll talk about it Monday afternoon. So yeah, they're the best way to get in contact with us.
Awesome. And apart from that, I think kind of covered everything. We obviously did that blog on the boss collection log or the boss drop log.
Boss drop log. Yeah.
I think is there anything to add to that? I guess apart from obviously what's in there.
Yeah, I mean we're currently still working on it. It's pretty much almost done. You can access it from the Beast tab or from a book from Death's Office now.
Awesome.
And we're fixing some of the broadcast issues people had with it as well when we showed it last. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to have some cool achievements as well.
Hey, here we go.
Related to it as well, but I won't see much more than that. Yeah, it's going to be pretty good.
Awesome. All right. So that is Crystal Skull Chompers coming out next Monday, and a couple of other things for the month of August from the Ninjas. So yeah. So unfortunately, I have to say bye to you two. But obviously, thank you so much for joining us. So yeah.
Is this where we get sacked? Bye.
This is why I'm dressed for the occasion, obviously.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, seriously, thank you so much for joining us, guys. As always, it's an absolute pleasure.
P45 on the way out.
You didn't mention any ice creams today either.
No.
Kept on the wraps for you. Yeah.
You have to mention the.
I'll try.
Oh, okay.
Bye, guys.
I just walked in front of the camera. Not in front of the camera. Oh. We're great at this production thing, guys.
I did it on purpose that time.
Of course we did it on purpose.
All right, so last Friday, we brought out our updated unfinished business post. Yeah. Let us try and go into a little bit of an overview of it and what we can expect. So let's kind of talk about it. So obviously we covered the bank rework. We kind of mentioned what's going on with that.
Yeah, bank rework. So one of the frustrations.
We spread out. Spread out.
Spread out. Oh, we need to spread out. Oh my. What do you mean like personally? Do we have to spread the legs a little bit? But with bank reworkers, we are so set on doing it. We know how important it is. But like, there's only a certain number of people who have the expertise to do the work on bank rework that is needed. And so please, if you are looking to join the company, go onto our careers website. If you have this expertise, platform and this sort of thing, please do. But yeah, it's just caused a bit of a bottleneck. So we've paused it for the moment as we work through a couple of other projects. So it's a real shame, but know that we're going to jump on it as soon as we can, like as soon as.
All right, I'm going to bring up mine in smithing, and I'm going to just throw it over to you. So
yeah, can I bring in my? So I'm the glamorous assistant to somebody else.
No, you're good to walk in front. You're good to walk in front. Yes. It's not on that view. Oh goodness, it's not on that camera.
Walks in front of an inactive
Unbelievable.
camera.
God, try and mess with the stream. Yeah.
All right.
I feel like for the sake of symmetry, I should be
a bit more loose. No, we can do it. We can spread. We'll spread. So yeah, what we wanted to do, if it's all right.
Can I introduce?
Oh yeah, more Jack.
There we go.
That's me.
All right. So yeah, by all means, go ahead.
One of the things that we haven't done is been able to kind of be frank about some of the problems that mining and smithing have faced, because obviously it's so obvious that we announced it 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago, RuneFest?
It might be 5.
It might be 5. And it hasn't come out yet, so what is holding it up? So I thought we'd just kind of talk over the dilemma it faces. And then we've actually got a straw poll we want to do at the end of this because we want to start making moves on something. So we're going to see if you like what we're proposing. If you don't like what we're proposing, we'll go back to the drawing board. But regardless, if you like what we're talking about and in a straw poll, we'll then move it to an in-game poll.
Okay.
And then we'll start the process. But so the first dilemma we faced is the problem that mining smithing kind of does in the early game is that you can change the skill so much that returning to the game or coming to the game, it feels unfamiliar.
Which is exactly what happened with the OC.
Yeah.
We are, I think, quite rightfully very scared of doing the same thing again.
Yes.
That we don't want to change the game beyond recognition.
And when we first kind of proposed mining and smithing, we thought that we weren't changing the game dramatically, but of course you're changing the price of coal, the drops on individual creatures,
the alch prices,
everything. And actually a lot of people base their bank and their, their behaviours and routines on that, so we are changing a lot. But we can do a lot of things to make it kind of more conservative, to keep it very familiar. But even if we did that, then there is still other problems. So if we got over that problem there, then we get into the problem of, is this actually is this actually a problem that is causing people to leave the game?
We got a lot of people saying that so something I believe very personally is that the mismatch of the levels, horrible. And it's been wonderful to see so many players go, yeah, this is awful, please fix it. This is just making the game look bad, it's making it look weird to new players, new players are quitting. But actually, that isn't really anything to do with why new players aren't.
We've got access to the data, we know why people are leaving. If we wanted to actually address the reasons why people are leaving, they're leaving because of tutorial, post-tutorial, coming back as a returner and not knowing what the game is doing. Even things like, there are some mini games that actually cause people to churn out more than mining and smithing. So it actually, mining and smithing doesn't do much to chuck people out. And as we've just said, it can, if we changed it too much, would cause people to leave the game.
Yeah, that's what we're worried
about. So that's a bit of a dilemma that we come through.
Was this a concern we had last September when we said no? We were like, when we had a development plan, we had the armors that we proposed back then, and then we decided not to do it. Was that that concern a reason why?
Yes. I mean, it was a part of the design trying to address it as much as we could in the design. So, for example, if we don't want to devalue people's banks, we can do things to fiddle with that. We can substitute items for other items to make sure banks keep their value and that sort of thing. Yeah. So we were constantly taking it into account. I think how we've ended up where we are now is just looking at the sheer cost of doing those things. Yeah. That it's extremely expensive in terms of time and in terms of work and man hours and just
because it's got its tendrils in
sheer number of people.
It's got its tendrils in drop tables, in Artisan's Workshop and other frillery content and things like that.
It is so much more complicated to rework an existing thing that's embedded deep into RuneScape than it is to just make a new thing. Yeah. It's so much more complicated. There's 15 years of accumulated mining and smithing content, all of which gets disrupted when we change anything.
Yeah, but we could just say, right, this is for the best of the game. So, okay, we've talked about how it might not actually be benefit for low levels, but we could do it anyway because high levels, mid levels want it. But what we found actually from the survey that we did was there is a real split in what is expected from a rework. I know there's been some comments about actually it depends on which skill it is from this question, but if we can show it up now, the results of what you would expect from a rework, would you expect a complete overhaul that changes the identity, or would you like a skill rework that's very conservative, very limited in what it changes, and actually kind of keeps the identity of the skill? We have, I think it's like 45% against 47%. So like what is expected from mining smithing is like if we did it, we'd annoy one half of the player base, no matter what we did. So there's obviously that as a concern as well. But, oh wait a minute, I've got to go on. Yeah, so I mean, we could swallow that, we could do that anyway, and just admit like
we could
the best of the game.
Right? Oh yeah, we could pick whichever we think is the best thing to do.
And just do it anyway.
Or we could poll it with a really slim margin. Yeah. Someone's saying there's a problem with my mic.
Yeah, we're going to sort that.
Oh.
Try that one. We're going to try
look at this.
Try to keep going.
Look at this.
Yeah, that's fine.
Behind the magic.
So, with that image, you mentioned 45 to 47. Yeah. And obviously there was the split below that of people who were not interested in skill reworks. Hopefully Jack will be getting picked up okay now. But
Am I on? Hello?
You're like my dad.
Live streaming.
I don't know.
Let's just roll with it. Let's just roll with this so we can keep this going.
Yeah.
Don't want to kind of lose this, but yeah. I mean, I found that very interesting. I didn't see the survey results until just now.
Yeah. So it shows that whatever we do, there are different expectations for what mining and smithing would do. There are some that are like, okay, just keep it as is, but just fix what's wrong. Just do that. And there's others that are like, it's not fun to train. Change up mining, smithing, so it doesn't have so much kind of exhausting of nodes, so that we don't have competition all the time. All of these kind of fundamental things. We could, both those directions, it's 50-50. But we could take the one that we want to do, and actually for the benefit of the game, do it. So we could do that. But then you're in a position whereby we are now doing mining and smithing. We're doing, mobile. We've got bank rework that we want to do in the future. We've got a number of these updates that are on at the same time that are eating up all of the potential for doing quests, combat content, all of this additive content. We're really getting into a position where we're back to expansions again. So you can see the kind of situation we're in.
Yeah, mining and smithing is as big as an expansion, bigger probably.
Yeah, so 9 months for a full expansion team, so that is an expansion.
And unless we put more content on top of that, we ship it, and then there isn't actually anything to do because we tweaked iron and adamant.
Yeah.
So great, and everyone's going, well, we're already done with iron and adamant. Why?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, I'll just go back to playing.
Exactly. What the worst case scenario is release mining and smithing. Everybody goes, thanks for that, shrugs, and then goes, where's my quest? You know, where's the content that I actually want to do? So that is always dangerous. But when we got the survey results, there was something really interesting that's been kind of helpful to us. The results that kind of skew towards the top in terms of the question of what you most want from the mining and smithing rework were actually skewed towards, I want high-level content, please. Can you actually give me a reason to train mining and smithing towards the top end? So I think we've got the top answers here. So if you look at number one, I want to make combat armor that I can use. I want it to be profitable at high level. I want kind of high-level overload style unlocks for mining and smithing. I know that largely we're going to get responses from high-level players from a survey, so we are taking this with a little pinch of salt.
But that's also why we asked in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it to get that answer?
So just to clarify, they were asked this question and then they were given their top 8, right?
Yeah, and they were
1 to
ranking
8.
them.
So that is the overall average 1 to 8.
Because the assumption that we had was actually wrong. We thought a lot of the things that were down the bottom, things like crunching down the tiers,
would be the most important.
It's not.
Okay. And they are strangely the most time-consuming things to do.
They're massively expensive.
They have least effect on the game. As we said, they do affect low-level players, but not in any statistically significant way.
Yeah.
No one's quitting over that. No one's saying, well, this is a stupid game because of this.
Yeah.
So much so that I'm going to quit. But the most expensive thing to change.
Which is really useful to us. So we want to pitch something because we don't like mining and smithing being in limbo like it is, for all the reasons that we've just mentioned. So we want to pitch something, and we want you to tell us if this is actually, this is palatable to you. If you actually are okay with this, we want to know via this straw poll. If it's not going to come out positive, then we'll go back to the drawing board. But what would happen if we did a high-level mining and smithing update? And then we took that the rest of the mining and smithing rework, left it for later. So, I mean, you've been working on this design.
Yeah, basically take all the high-level new things, which are actually paradoxically far easier to implement, take much less time, and ship that. So new tier, 70, 80, 90, new locations, maybe mining guild, craftable armor, high-level PVM armor, high-level useful PVM armor, some sort of overload, profitable mining skill where the high-level ores are rare and desirable.
All right. Yeah. Let's pop that straw poll in the chat because obviously we've got a vocal expression in the chat already from people.
What it wouldn't include is reworking the low-level content, tweaking the levels,
which
of low-level
is the
gear.
chunk of stuff.
Yeah.
So, do we do this? Do we get that out earlier? Do we start work on that? Tell us in that straw poll, and then we'll put it in an in-game poll if it's
successful. So let's clear this up straight away. That does not involve going up to a 120 skill.
Doesn't involve going up to 120.
No. Okay.
Doesn't involve crunching the lower level tiers. We're looking at those kind of top 30, 39 levels and just addressing them, bringing out new content for them and giving reasons to train mining smithing up to those levels.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. Is there anything else you guys want to add to that?
No, just get the straw poll out there and let's see.
Let's have a look. So, well, I mean, Yes is doing very nicely indeed, to say the very least. So yeah, we'll let that go on as the stream goes on. We'll come back to that later.
I mean, we're not going to lie. We know it's not a rework. We know it's not a mining and smithing rework. We're calling it something fundamentally different. We're not losing the idea of mining and smithing rework. But for all the reasons we've just mentioned, we need the time to do it. We need to know it's the right update to do. That is going to go further back. It might even drop out of unfinished business. It will certainly drop out of the top 10 updates and be replaced by this.
It'll go much further back.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So we got a lot more to go through, of course, because we have that list. Next up, the clue scroll overhaul in pre-production at the moment. We've done a couple of dev blogs on some quality of life stuff, fixes and rewards we want to do.
Yeah, and the rewards, yeah.
And also, we kind of had an idea of like the aims that we've created, and we've also started design, and also prototyped some of the rewards. But if we talk about the top 10 clue scroll fixes we're planning, what are we looking at
the
here?
Titans asked everybody, and they've kind of prioritised, they've got a backlog, this is how we work, they've prioritised hundreds of potential fixes for clue scrolls, but we want to show the top 10. So if the top 10 can come up.
I don't think we have a graphic, so
no, we don't.
We have to refer to me.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Do you want to just rattle them off?
Yeah, no problem. So number one was more clues will be less annoying. However, we should mention we will poll this first to see what the reaction is to that.
Yeah, we've got 3 polls coming up, which I'll talk about later.
Awesome. The ability to collect multiple clue scrolls from the same tier, but not have multiple active. We are going to poll that. Well, you got it now, so
okay.
Go ahead. This is all yours now.
Oh no! So what you got to 2, didn't you?
Yes. Correct.
Number 3. So 1 new die, which we're going to poll next week. So obviously the dies are loved. The idea of new ones, I won't go into them quite yet, but that'll be one of the polls we talk about. Wizards have been improved. So there'll be weak tool combat styles can be left-clicked in Wieldy and graphically updated. New reward drop that upgrades existing range boots from tier 40 to tier 85.
Oh, jeez.
Fix some of the misleading logic on hints. Yeah, that's an obvious fix that we should do. More clue scrolls available through skilling, which is good. A new tier of super rare clue scrolls, master. Before we have new rewards, we'll look at existing drop tables and give them a refresh. And a new clue scroll collection log, which I think we've got an image of, perhaps. I know. Oh.
You're being tested here.
Oh, we're testing. So if you look at the kind of the boss logs, maybe if you look at the boss logs, the idea of an exhaustive list of everything that you can get from Master, Elite, all of that sort of thing, and you can slowly work your way through. That's basically it.
See if I can find the image.
Yeah, of course, and potentially achievements attached to that. So yeah, and our
Oh, okay. So sorry to jump in. I'm going to pop it up now. So this is what you were referring to, which was the log. It's a little small, but you have to bear with us. But obviously, similar to the boss collection log image, just here's a way of showing how much of X you've got in the clue scrolls, etc.
That's it. I mean, I know that there are a lot of people, particularly even on like friend lists and Twitter, who love doing lots of clues and seeing what their rewards are from it. And this just means that you can get that tracked. Unfortunately, it won't be retroactive, but might be good for some of the clue scroll hunters.
There you go. All right. Sorry, I jumped ahead. I think.
Yeah, yeah. So there are going to be 3 polls soon. Obviously, we've got
Maybe.
maybe if Kelpie lets us, we're going to do a few. So we just changed the format of them a bit, but yeah, based on die at the moment, based on the kind of how you can retrieve items. For doing a clue scroll, better ways of dealing with that. Obviously, Old School did their hidey hole thing, but we've got a design that kind of really works well that we want to kind of give to you, and also the ability to have more clue scrolls at once. Any one given time is another poll we'll be doing.
Awesome. I think that'll cover clue scrolls a fair bit there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about daily scape reductions. We're in pre-production, I believe, on that one, but where are we?
Oh, I talked about that.
You're now talking about it. You weren't
kind of thrown him on the spot.
I just remembered he's here and he did it.
No, Alex did.
No, but you've got there's we've got a few designs that we could do for Dailyscape. We haven't.
Mine's super aggressive. I want to get rid of all of it. We've got quite a lot of different competing ideas.
Don't say that, please. Don't say that. You've already done it. I know you have. But yeah, so the Ninja team are probably going to be taking on Dailyscape soon. There are a few potential avenues we could go down. I know that Mod Moltaire was looking at the idea of that you could accumulate. So one approach we could do is that you could accumulate them all and do almost like a Gothixian cache bomb. You know, you could do all of your week's worth of Gothixian caches for a big mother load, and then you wouldn't have to do it again. So that means that I don't have to check in every single day to do it, or every single hour or so. But there's an interpretation that is almost along the lines of a shop, in the idea that you can, I've given them a certain amount. I can do a certain number of D&Ds in a week. So I could do my Wieldy Warbands and my cache and my sinkholes, but I couldn't do any others. And we would max up the XP, accordingly, or rack up XP.
Difficult to balance well.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit difficult to balance. But there are different ways of doing it. What we don't want to do, and we're not going to do, is just strip out Wieldy Warbands, sinkholes, and Gothixian caches. Which I know some people are wary of, but it might be that we ask players to pick and choose what they're doing at a given time through a certain design mechanic. And what we're going to do is probably open it up as well. Like, it's not just going to come from us. We want to hear from players.
Right. Invention Batch 2. Here we go. We're getting into the thick of things now.
Yeah.
Where are we with devices?
Devices, you can remind me now. Wait a minute, I've
You've
got it here.
Yeah, this is why we have references.
Kelpie, help me.
No.
So
I knew you wouldn't.
I can help you here.
Yeah, devices in QA. So yeah, they're largely done. But it's the machines that are in production, because some of the modelling work is being done on them. There's some interface work to be done, just because some feedback came in that it wasn't quite intuitive. But
so we can actually talk about some of the machines, because we have concepts of not only interfaces but the tools. So can we bring up? We got three. So 3 concepts, I believe, first of all. So we'll go through these now. So we have the power generator.
Yeah, these are all off the Invention Guild. So this will be those rooms that are blocked off. You'll be able to go into them, and you will have a number of hotspots. So like in construction, you'll be able to plonk these down. So we're trying to keep in the original theme of Invention. But yeah, they're kind of large. This is the generator that powers your machines.
And a potion maker. You can try and figure out what that might be able to do.
Yeah, it'll take your umphs. Is that how you say it?
Unfinished.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Okay, interesting.
And do those while you're away doing other things.
And that's going to be interesting. The auto alka, which is pretty
Pumping
awesome.
out cash.
So those are the concepts. Now, obviously, to make these work, we have to have the in-game stuff. So
Yep.
we have the in-game interfaces. I believe we are good to show these now.
I don't know how much this is going to show you. Deg made these for me, and all I can remember is there's a gnome baller. Yeah, there he is.
So there's some of the machines you can build, for example. And now there's what the alka one does right there. So you can see that it converts any deposited item into
Yep.
gold. So you
Yep.
don't have to keep using your runes, etc., etc.
So start stockpiling your potatoes and cabbages now. No, those prop numbers will probably change and probably won't be
Yeah.
cabbages or potatoes.
And obviously you can see there's a lot of PHs for placeholder, of course. So all of this is very work in progress, can change, and probably
Yeah.
will as time is going on. So we'll definitely use that as a chance to mention
So you
it.
just stock it up on secondaries, you leave, come back, get your output, basically. Manufacturing station.
So I think we have another one that we can bring up right now, which is the auto siphon. That's a new one.
That is-
Yes, that's pretty awesome, if I'm honest. Choosing a level and having it auto siphon for you.
You've just done it for me, thank you.
Sorry, I'm so excited. I'm sorry, I keep jumping in the way of everything. I
look at that
apologise.
zoom. Oh, I love it. So
Oh.
this, I believe, is the Gizmo Bag. It's not showing the title across the top, that's fine. So it show, what you can see here is...
meant to be the Gizmo Bag.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got multiple tiers of Gizmo Bag, so that's why the locks are on there. But yeah, so it's a good way of kind of reducing your inventory and bank there.
I'm going to stop talking now. I'm getting too excited. This is what happens. I get too excited. I start saying
Yeah,
everything. That's my bad. I
That's
apologise.
just a small subsection of the devices. We've got a lot of stuff there. Some good stuff and a lot of quality of life fixes too.
Gizmo Bag is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that.
There's a dev diary as well coming out soon.
Yeah,
I
so,
believe. Maybe next week. Maybe.
JD, are you able to clarify when we're looking at the dev diaries here?
At the moment, no.
Unfortunately. Okay.
But it will be in the next couple of weeks.
Do we know what? So it's invention related, correct?
Yes.
Do we know specifically what this is focusing on?
It's focusing on. Let me get.
Obviously, while JD does that, if we look at general fixes, obviously invention as a skill, we know we looked at general fixes as well. What are we expecting from this as well?
Oh my. So yeah, removal of inspiration, which is obviously going to make it clean up the process a little bit more. Means you don't have to wait to get your unlocks. Oh gosh.
Simplification of parts.
Yes, and components. There's going to be an easier way of viewing what a given component will produce in terms of a perk, which is
Nice.
useful. Hovertext, we're doing that in the interface. I'm missing some vital ones. But invention also comes with things like unlocks beyond level 10 on a given augmented item. So there's actually going to be a reason to kind of level it up beyond that, which is great. I'm a little bit lost otherwise. I'm sure the team is upstairs shouting at me.
I think the bigger one though is the removal of inspiration. I'll be honest.
And tradable augmenters as well.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah,
you
which
did
for me
mention
is
that,
huge. Yeah.
I personally, with the removal of inspiration, I think it was a problem for us. When we brought in new devices,
Yeah.
inspiration always seemed to play a problem on that. 'Cause obviously we had to up the cap and then stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it became a bit of a problem as it got on. So it's nice
you're
to
absolutely right.
kind of be done with it, I guess.
Yeah.
To say the very least. In regards to that though, I don't know if we have another image for invention. I think we're done for that, but if we are,
We're all done.
we're all done. Awesome. Okay, so obviously with the achievement system, we kind of talked about it earlier on. That was on that list.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, I think it's safe to say,
Yep.
on the way.
Yep. As is the next one.
Evil Dead
Evil Dead.
Quest.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just the joy of producing something. I know it's not to everybody's taste to do a very kind of in-jokey comedic quest, but for those people who love them, it's really good. It's really kind of nailing that Gower quest vibe.
Still the best image from RuneFest I saw was the infamous selfie between Dave and Zamora.
I still reenact it with Mod Connor whenever I can.
Pretty awesome. Just a reminder for people watching as well, Claudia is going to be spawning on the beach in just a moment, so feel free to jump on that as an FYI. Next up, graphical reworks included. Sears Village.
Which hasn't had any progress so far, just because
Right.
we've been... oh, go on.
It has bits of progress. It's very much a kind of like a secondary project for Mod AOB that he does between other bits. So it is progressing, and I do believe he has actually been sharing a little bit on his Twitter account, some screenshots and stuff. So yeah, making bits of progress here and there. But it's very much Mod AOB's project, since he's been involved with like so many other projects, and it's his chance to actually lead some projects, which is great.
Did enjoy someone just saying that we've just unmuted you. I do
Yeah.
feel bad. I
haven't said anything,
I'm
so that's
feeling
why I was
so
just
much.
like,
I'm
no,
so
it's 'cause
sorry.
he keeps
my
tutting.
turn. I haven't tutted at all.
He hasn't tutted.
You don't even know you do it.
He hasn't. All right, next up is Witch's House. Now, are you able to explain, first of all, why Witch's House that we're planning to do graphical rework on?
It was, yeah, my turn. We did it as it was when we came up with the unfinished business stuff. Obviously, there was a changeover, and during that changeover, there was some of the teams were kind of in a bit of limbo between moving from one project to the other, needed to make sure we're actually giving them a project to work on and stuff. So Witch's House was actually just a little thing that they did in between moving off of Menethos and moving on to Clues really. I think it may have spawned from myself, or I'm not sure if anyone else has mentioned it.
Spawned from yourself.
Whereas I always talked about graphical reworks and stuff, and how when you come off Ashdale and you look around, you can see like the Catherby and the mountain are all nice and done. Tavaly isn't too old looking sort of thing. You can see in the distance Falador is all nice and shiny sort of thing, and then you got like Witch's House and really ugly.
It does look
a tower next to it sort of thing. So I think the team just kind of grabbed onto that. I'm sure plenty of other people were talking about it as well. But the good thing about it is it's not just a graphical rework.
We've got some concept.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, John, go for it, Captain.
The good thing about it is it's not just a graphical rework. The team have gone through, done some quality of life like ninja fixes to the quest to improve all the interactions, and it's now free to play as well.
Awesome.
It will be once we release it.
Right, I'm throwing this over to you as well. Combat pets.
Combat pets, yes. So most of you have been interacting with the polls, voting for your combat pets over the last couple of weeks. Those polls are finally over. Well, for the models, I think we're still with the final one to do with the titles, the Jackal Trades title and stuff like that. So do look at the poll system if you want to say in that, and you haven't had to say yet. So 2 of the models have started, but that's very early on, so I don't have screenshots. We do have screenshots of 2 of the concepts. So all the poll winners, all the things are going through our concept team. So the concept team make them ready for our modelers. So the first one was the attack pet, Snifu, I think. Sifu. I can't remember what they're called. Sorry. So yeah, badass. And then that's Wallace, which was one of the pets that was posted very early on, which prompted like us to make the decision to actually do a competition for these combat pets, and it's nice to see some of those ones winning, such as Wallace, such as Newton won the Magic one. So yeah, so they're now in production. Probably gonna maybe look at using like our outsource company, or whatever, to speed it up and get them done sooner.
Awesome. We want that kangaroo.
On the kangaroo.
So I have to talk about that poll. That was the closest. I think it's the closest poll we've ever had.
There were some interesting polls actually. So that was. I think it was the closest poll between that and Hell Taurus. I can't remember what it was called. And then the latest polls, the prayer and the magic ones, the first ones, the top 5 ones, were the first time where we polled something, and usually you can look at it within like 5 minutes and you know what the winner is. But actually, after a couple of days, the winners actually switched over, but then the thing is when we did the final 2, the ones that came second in both those top 5 polls actually eventually won it. So interesting. It was the first time.
That shows why it's worth doing that.
That
2 poll.
First time that happened, sort of thing. So it's nice to see there's a reason for it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think it might be worth talking about, because we talked a bit of polls and stuff like that. We are actually working on a new polling system, and we're going to have something that is a lot more alike to the old school polling system, where we can do kind of like a whole survey of polls all in one time. And that would mean, like, in the future, when we did like these combat pets, we would be able to like poll all the semi-finals in one go, and then poll all the finals in one go, and it would speed up the whole process, sort of thing. It'd be really good for projects like Clue Scrolls, where we are looking to do some polls at the start, that we can actually do a survey poll that we can survey a whole load of things all in one go, sort of thing. So yeah, be really good. We should have that in a couple months' time. Sort of thing.
Since moving to polls with unfinished business, would you say it's definitely helped a lot then?
I think polls definitely do help, but we need to poll the correct things.
Yeah.
And there's two things to learn from. There's obviously old school been doing polls ever since their kind of creation, and it's obviously worked very well for them. We are a different game, so we're not doing like for like. But we had a meeting with them the other day, and they did put on a very good presentation of why their sort of learnings and stuff. So we really appreciate that. But then the other thing is when we initially released the poll system, we had these grand design like that we were gonna have polls always, and it was gonna help with all the projects, but we didn't use them in the right way, sort of thing. I think we started off with like some big polls, then we ended up going down the line of kind of
comedic,
community, like design by committee sort of thing, in the sense of like everyone was kind of like we were picking out design options from like 5 options sort of thing, and as a result something would win with only like 23% of the vote or something like that. And then it turned into also, oh, we've got to have a poll for something, so you've got to create something, and then that's when you get things like Lola Droll, which obviously didn't go down too well.
All right. Okay. Oh, goodness. 10th on our list of the top 10, Shattered Worlds improvements.
While we talk about polls, actually, should we go to the straw poll?
Oh, yeah. Nice to see. Yeah, so on our screen here, just to give you all a heads up if you haven't seen the straw poll already, we asked if you would be interested in the mining and smithing high-level updates with our mining and smithing rework postponed until later. From what we can see right now, we're closing up on 1,000 votes, but yes is definitely winning for sure. So, I mean, Jack and Osborne, what's this tell you right now?
That tells us we can move on to the next stage, which is, I mean, this is great. I didn't quite expect to be that emphatic.
I was expecting that to be pretty close, to be honest.
Yeah, indeed. So we can now move on to the in-game poll. So what we would really like to do is, one of the things we learned from old school, and we absolutely want to do, is preempt a poll with devblog. Like, lay out what our plan is for a given update so that people are informed when it comes to a poll. So we'll do that, get the design down, talk about what we want to propose, and then in-game poll.
So you want to have the devlog that mentions X, Y, and Z that leads, of course, into that poll.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we'll do that.
All right, Shattered Worlds improvements.
Yes, so the 2 prongs of it, one of them is to make it more rewarding, to address the anima rates. That is in QA. So that is, it's coming soon. There are some fixes from Moderator, who can never say it right. They are slightly detached from that, and they'll be in with other Ninja fixes, but there will be some kind of things that are being addressed. I've been given a list, actually. Where is it? Where's my paper? So some of the things that we've been looking at doing, so the chest on the world now tells you how much anima you gain from it. Chest world restores prayer, summoning, and life points. Nice. Every checkpoint. Massively increased damage dealt tracker from 1 million to a value I don't remember. Thanks, Timbo. So the tracker of damage dealt will go up to
a higher world,
a ridiculous number.
Like one NPC has 1 million NPC life points anyway. So.
Yeah, and there are also some titles being added to the reward shop. So there we go. So those are some of the kind of fixes we're talking about, quality of life stuff, and a little bit of kind of reward in there. But there's the other prong, which is making it more varied, which we're talking about, in particular, new objectives, because I feel objectives are the major thing that like makes it feel more fatiguing or tedious as you go on. So that will really help. But we've been looking at other things. Man, I'd love co-op, but it's more about things like mini bossing, new mutators, new rewards, that sort of thing. That is still in pre-production, hasn't moved.
Gotcha. All right, let's move to some general questions here then. So we kind of covered about what else is set to be polled in the near future, but are we able to just do a reminder of what they can expect?
Well, I think we've got some clue polls coming up, but beyond that, other than...
Sounds like mining and smithing.
Yeah, mining and smithing. But other than that, a few people have talked to me about other polls, but they don't always happen, so I don't want to say anything. But in terms of significant stuff, I mean, I think once we get the new poll system up and running, Ninja team will be using that a lot more often. From my experience being in a Ninja team, you often get a lot of fixed suggestions where you're unsure whether, like, how many people actually want this? Is it actually worth us spending our time on this? Like, is this just actually like 3 people constantly always saying it in like saying on the forum, saying on the Reddit, tweeting us about it, or is actually a large audience who want that? And I think being able to poll these sort of things and say, should we spend our time on this, and having like thresholds and stuff attached would mean that we actually create a solid backlog of stuff that people actually, like a large number of, like a large community wants, sort of thing.
But we have learned, I mean, when we were talking to old school, we also don't want to alienate minority groups, you know, like clans, for example. So we're looking at how polls can still address that, Iron Men, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And then the other thing is sometimes you get people saying, hey, can you change this to be this way? And then we'll go, okay, and then we'll fix it, and then the other half of people who were like, no, I liked it the way it was, why did you change it? It's like, oh, oops. And like by polling that, we can obviously make sure that and having thresholds means we're only changing stuff that people actually want, sort of thing. So I don't want to commit the team, but I imagine it would be around about a kind of like monthly poll or so from the Ninja team once we have the new poll system up and running.
Awesome. Is there anything you'd already worked on for expansion 2, which is an invention, that you'd be looking to release?
We're not going to delve into what the theme is for expansion 2 yet, but there is something that we're looking to put hopefully into this month.
What was?
Was.
Oh yeah,
yes.
sorry. Well, wow. I'm not using my tenses
as you
right.
said that, I was like, wait, what? That was the most evil slap I've ever used. My goodness.
Yeah, but one of the things we are looking to put into this month is, which will give you an idea maybe of the expansion theme, so I can see conspiracy theorists picking this apart, but upgraded models to the God Wars generals. So we've got those. They are a little bit work in progress. But if we could put them up individually, what I really want to do is kind of gauge player feedback on these. So if there are things, if there are things you dislike about the new models, individual elements, then let us know in the chat or maybe on Reddit, Twitter, what have you. Then we can know what to change. So these are really kind of optimized as well, so they're more efficient. So the slowdown will be reduced because we have reduced polys. But let us know what you think. I mean, it's not a dramatic change. They're still obviously very much in keeping with what you know. Hopefully we can get some shots in the future of them in situ because the lighting really does improve them. But what we don't want is a situation where obviously we had a little bit of kickback on Dagonoth Kings, for example. We want to know kind of like if we're going down the wrong path on any of those like now.
Oh yeah, so let us know what you think of that. And obviously we'll keep an eye out on the inevitable posts that come up showing them. So obviously we'll be watching that
and
as
new
well.
anims as well, which are looking
new
slick.
Animations. Okay, cool. All right, cool. A couple more questions here. Are you not at all worried that the game is going towards more rework updates instead of new content?
Not really. I mean, part of obviously like this kind of unfinished business stuff was the whole deal with like expansions weren't working. There was a lot of stuff that we need to go back and revisit and get right. There is some new stuff in there like mixed in with that. There's still obviously like we still want to do quests and stuff like that. There's kind of like the theme of the quest is like suits unfinished business. There is high-level Slayer mobs and stuff like that. That's still kind of new content and stuff. But ultimately, like we're listening to the community, and if it gets to the point where it's like you're not delivering enough new stuff, then we need to look at fitting in more new stuff.
The whole point of
our
unfinished business is to do
backlog.
what the community wants, right?
Yeah.
So if the community don't want reworks, then we don't do reworks.
But the survey has told us that a large proportion do want reworks. So we've got to keep that in mind. That's one thing to keep in mind. But
that question is at the very heart of what we're having trouble with at the moment.
Mining and smithing
is.
I think at the moment there's a kind of focus on like let's try and get a lot of like particularly it's not easy, but like stuff that we know exactly how to tackle unfinished business wise, get that done and out there, and then that's when we have the larger projects and stuff. Did he manage?
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, level up.
Yeah, and we'll do more stuff. Yeah.
All right. Can we have more results from the survey?
I know you had one that you wanted to.
Yeah. So I mentioned 120 Slayer, and that was very high up, if not highest on one of the questions was adding more Slayer mobs, and I know that was kind of like wanting to maybe kind of keep this a bit more of a secret and surprise sort of thing. But after seeing several threads over the weekend on Reddit where people were really like this isn't good enough for like 120 Slayer, the amount of new mobs and stuff between 99 and 120, we do have a high-level Slayer mobs update coming out. I will say in next few months.
Okay,
I can't put a date on it at the moment because it involves
Any
a bit
idea
of
how
work sort of
many?
thing. Three
New mobs.
3 new mobs and brand new mobs, not kind of just taking existing
Reskins
mob
or
and
anything.
adding a higher level to it or anything. New creation sort of thing. But again, I don't want to say too much at this time.
Can I recall a juicy one that I saw this morning?
Sure.
Yeah, one of the poll questions was, what do you want the identity of the next skill to be? So I'm always interested in this. We're not necessarily going to do a new skill before we've done a number of reworks. We know that, caveats and all that lot. But the top option is actually do something new like Dungeoneering did. So like having been there for when Dungeoneering was launched and knowing the reaction to it, feeling, oh, it's a mini game and all that sort of thing. It's really cool to see that people are, it's the second favourite skill in the skill poll.
Really?
Yeah, just behind Slayer. Well, not just behind, massively behind
way
Slayer.
behind Slayer.
Way behind Slayer, but second.
But massively above everything else.
And if we were going to do a
Wow.
new skill, people would want it. It's just ahead of being cross skill, like Hunter is, but people want something new and try out something fresh, and that's fun.
Not Dungeoneering again, because that wouldn't be new.
No, that wouldn't be new. But it's that idea of going into a new space is cool. That's fun as a designer, and I'd love to do that.
You just create some more unfinished business.
What did Kelpie say at the start of the stream? Or before we even went
A
live?
new skill. There's always the possibility of a new skill. It's like me saying, oh, there'll be a new quest. Of course. All
right.
I've seen a few people picking up on 3, and maybe that doesn't sound good enough to them. By all means, like if it's
that's one update.
we can that's one update. We can do more. It's not. So I think there's another question about this. It's not the abyssal creatures that Mod Shogun was working on in the game jam back in February, although that. We still do have that. We will look to release that at some point. So it could be that we prioritize that update, higher. If people, they still want more Slayer mobs over other stuff that's part of the unfinished business and stuff, then we can deliver that. I mean, when we did the survey, we were a bit conscious about the feeling that we only ever do Slayer
It's
updates.
a fine line, isn't it?
But
yeah, we want to complete Slayer, but also we don't want every update to feel like it's combat oriented and Slayer oriented. So we've got to make sure we ride that line. That's all.
And we did say as well when we brought out 120 Slayer that we always want to try and add on top of that as well. Yeah. So that's fair enough. Probably one for you, Kelpie, although obviously you're not in Ninja anymore. But we'd like to know how the top 10 Ninja fixes we voted on a couple of months back are getting along.
Yes. Do we have that on there, or was that?
We have a graphic. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Okay, so bank rework. We've already covered that in unfinished business. Unfinished business. In unfinished business. Unfortunately, it's kind of temporary on hold. Not much we can do about that. Aura Bag. So when we were looking to release this, when we announced unfinished business. There was top threads on Reddit and such saying, actually, whilst it achieves kind of like one of 2 things, like that's not good enough, go back to make sure it's fully done before you release it. So it's back in production after that player feedback. Dailyscape, we mentioned that currently people aren't ready, the resources aren't ready to start on it, but we do believe Ninja Team will be able to pick that up soon and start working on it. Improving the currency pouch, it's almost finished, almost done. I believe there's been plenty of screenshots.
Yeah.
Was it the last live stream?
Feedback and stuff. But yeah, so that should be out with you guys in the near future, provided that not too much comes out of QA. No Clan Broadcast hasn't started, unfortunately. That's a much larger task than it seems. That requires engine updates and such, and there's only so much we can do with all that stuff in one time. Practice mode. So this is about being able to go and select your phases in practice mode, and again, that's a huge task. So this was all part of the big list, the big updates list, where we knew that there was a lot of stuff and it would take a lot of time to get through them. So these are all big updates, which is why quite a few of them haven't been worked on or anything further since, because we've been working on the other ones and they haven't been released yet. So clearly it's taken time. Quick Prayer has been released. Mod Edge, when he came into the team, that was his first project to kind of get him started. We like to give people give new tasks as a project as their kind of first thing. So he did that first of all. He's been doing some ninja fixes. He's been working on like the currency pouch and stuff. So he's been doing a great job since he joined the team. Quick Chat XP being investigated, but again, a lot larger than it seems. Storm or Armadillo not started. No more further information about that. And then being able to interact with broadcasts. I can't actually
requires
see,
engine
but
work, but looks
yeah,
like,
I think it's another thing where we need to free up resources to work on it, and those resources, there's things high up on that list that require those resources before we can get to that. But they're all really cool things. It's just unfortunately that we can't do everything all at once.
So for people saying number 7 came out first, obviously comparing the Bankery work to Quick Prayers is...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Again, it's like... And whilst we put it in a priority list, some things are quicker to do, a lot quicker to do than others. When it came to as we said, like Mod Edge came into the team, like, right, we need to give him a project to start off with. And that one, the Quick Prayers was the amount of work that was required, the type of work that was required was suitable for a new starter project to get them running, which is why like we started with number 7. And we know like Bankery work is just huge project, and it's like I was the one who initially said, hey, let's do this sort of thing, because obviously everyone wanted it so much, and at that time, like I knew it was a massive project. I didn't realize it was a massive project that seems to be more massive each day. But yeah. Massive.
Osborne, I have to ask, obviously it's come up in the chat a fair bit. I know we kind of covered some of the stuff we wanted to talk about in the survey, but I'm seeing clans a lot. Is there anything we can share?
The clan Discord has jumped on it. Damn it. Yeah, the clans obviously is. So clan permissions list unsurprisingly came low in the survey.
Right.
But
we don't no.
But this is all about like not alienating some of your smaller groups, because that's largely for clan leaders and stuff like that. There aren't that many out there, not as many as out there as doing the survey. We know the value of clans. We can see that. We've got all that data. We want to do something with clans. That's not going to be soon.
That's not 2017.
That's not 2017. But
I think we're very much in the mindset that it's 2018.
Yeah. Because there's so many benefits from it. Okay. The idea of starting a new player in a kind of friendly clan to start off with is only going to benefit. To have kind of clan versus clan stuff at the higher levels is only going to benefit the game. There's so much that clans can do. Yeah, that's all we can do, reassure.
I think the first step probably for us is to kind of sort out the permissions and stuff. Sort out like what clan leaders can do and stuff like that, and that would be the first step. It won't be just one massive release, one huge release. It'll be a stepped release where we can like take on a chunk of work, get that done, release it, and improve clans step by step.
Steps, not batches.
Yeah.
How is mobile currently affecting the RS team, and will it impact future updates in a build up to launch?
It does have some impact, and it will have. Yeah, I think it's hard to say fully at this time how it will impact kind of future releases once it's out and stuff.
I think the majority of things we're doing
is interface basis. I think is the biggest thing, because we will, as part of getting RuneScape working on mobile, we have to redo interfaces to suit a mobile screen. So any project that we do in the future that requires interfaces, we'll need to make it kind of mobile friendly version as well. But apart from that, I mean, like one of the aims of the project is so that it doesn't have huge knock-on effects, and that we can try and make everything fully accessible. Whether or not we can do that for launch, I can't say at this time. But there
are things that we'll probably do for mobile that benefit the normal game anyway.
Yeah.
Normal game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we have more information about the remainder of the year's plan for quests?
Yeah. So there are 2 that we are working on. One of which we are saving for announcement at RuneFest. So this is just to kind of give you an idea that it's not only the things on that top 10 list that we're working on, there are other things that just aren't so central to unfinished business, and we don't want to reveal everything. I'm determined, I'm so determined to get another quest on there that I'm working personally towards. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Daddy Obo quest.
Daddy Obo quest. Oh, yeah.
All right, so as a summary, just to give you a rundown of everything we went through before we wrap up here, we talked about, of course, what's coming up in August, what we can look forward to, achievements, Crystal Skill Chompers, as well as what Ninja are getting up to, some good stuff from them, skill outfits, of course. We also then went into our unfinished business list that we published last Friday, provided an update on last Friday. To give you an overview, the most important thing to come out of this, I think it's safe to say, is the straw poll that's ongoing right now for mining and smithing. So, JD, are we going to put that in the chat one more time as well, please? So feel free to get involved in that. We, of course, went through the top 10 list, including Clue Scrolls, Invention Batch 2. We also showed off some really cool looking Godward's Dungeon models, which was unexpected.
Yeah,
I mean, that's safe to say.
I only heard about it today, to be honest.
Oh, there you go then.
Plucked from Expansion 2, or what would have been.
And apart from that, of course, just general questions, but as always, you can watch the stream back if you've missed anything. But of course, thank you so much for joining us. There's unfortunately no stream on Friday this week, and for Unfinished Business, we're going to be moving to a mid-month stream, and the first of these will be in September. But apart from that, thank you so much for joining us, as always. It has been a pleasure. It's already been opened. I've already done it. Look. What? No.
It's 1-1. It's 1-1.
Are we really delaying the stream to see if I can open a water bottle? This is totally happening.
You've got to be a crowd, please.
Catch it, catch it. Yes, he did it. Good first step.
Down it. And on that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Take care. Have a good one. Oh, what more? Oh, what?
No.
Oh.
Clean exit, guys. Well done.